Very welcome. My name is David Widén Oridsson, and this is Hockeyfeber, the third episode of Hockeyfeber's UK Icehockey Series 2023. This is the third edition since I started this YouTube channel, and I have continued invited British ice hockey players, both from the male and female side. And for this year, I also have had the pleasure to have other guests that are not active ice hockey players, but for this case, a head coach. And I have also had before the writer from Chasing the Puck, Stephen Thornton. So I wish you very welcome, Martin, and it's a real pleasure having you.
No, definitely, David. Thank you for having me. It's a real pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thank you. And I think for many that follows British ice hockey, you are a familiar face and people know who you are. But for those that not know, you are, as in this time, head coach for the Solway Sharks, but also the head coach for the U20 Great Britain national team.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and both of those coaching works that you have been really successful, both for club and for the nation. As Great Britain won the latest time now silver medal when they played in the World Cup Juniors, right?
Yes. Yeah. Been a good time. Been successful. Obviously, we're still a little bit disappointed that it was a silver and not a gold, but I guess but small still, margins. Small margins.
You bring home some silverware, so that was really nice.
Definitely,
and really great tournament, I think, from my perspective, and I think many, as with me, think that as well.
No, much appreciated.
Yeah. So, as you are now the head coach for both the club and for the Great Britain, as we said. Before you became a trainer, was it ever? Did you begin to think about it a little time before you were supposed to end, or was it did it come just like that when you have ended, or how did it came up that you want to be a coach?
Yeah, I don't think it was planned at the time. It came a little bit earlier than I thought it would. The team, which was Dumfries Vikings, it was called at the time, before Solway Sharks, they unfortunately went into some financial difficulties. The team who were in the Scottish League at the time, and the juniors asked me if I would get involved in coaching. So I became a player coach initially, played a couple of seasons, and then really decided that I enjoyed the coaching more than I enjoyed the playing at that stage, and really realised that I think a player coach's job is really difficult because, if I'm honest, I probably played myself too much. I wanted to still play, but then I realised if I wanted to actually develop players and become good at that craft of coaching and really focus and take my time to learn and progress and be as good as I could be, I think I had to stop playing. So then I decided to stop playing and
totally focus on just coaching,
purely on coaching, purely on developing both my skills and the players, without having to think about and worry about my own game as a player. So definitely decided to focus.
And from my perspective, once again, I really think from what I have seen and followed from my side, that you have really done a really great work and succeeded very well to accomplish many great things with your philosophy of training.
Thank you, much appreciated. And I think it's one of the best jobs in the world because as we both know, our sport is it's a great sport. The kids come, they work hard. You could develop and see them progress from young kids right the way through to hopefully professional players and Great Britain international players. And I guess I've been lucky to work with a lot of good people and a lot of good players. And I just still to this day really, really enjoy it. It's a passion of mine. And as long as I can make people better, then we'll always get good hockey players. So still a lot of fun.
That sounds fantastic. How would you? This question is for many, I think, the hardest question to answer. How would you describe yourself as a coach?
I like to think that I'm player focused. I like to get to know my players. I've always said that the most important thing, and through learning over time, I think the most important thing is the person. You've got to have good people skills, know your players, and be able to understand what everybody needs. I think when I first started coaching, the kind of old way was everybody's the same. There's no I in team, but now you understand that there's 22 I's in your team. Everybody's individual. You have to know what they need. And I like to think that players can speak to me. They can come to me with anything. And then obviously I like to think that I've got a knowledge of the game that allows me to help the players be the best they can possibly be. And that we've had some success both in Solway and with the national programme and making players better, trying to get them to the highest level that they can play at, because that's ultimately what we want to do. And our recruitment model here is based on if we can progress as many young players as possible, we'll take the next breed in, the next generation in, and we'll try and do the same again. So I think definitely I like to think that it's player focused, it's development focused, and if you get that part right, then you can always get that winning mentality and good habits into the player, which helps them become better in what they do.
Yeah, I can absolutely agree. So as a player, when you played, did you have any favorite coach that you thought was really great when you played?
I think I was lucky. I worked under some really good coaches. My two long-term junior coaches in Kirkcaldy and Fife, Chip Cottrell and Alan Bean Anderson, were two of my favourite guys. Still, I still talk to these guys now, and they still keep up with how I'm doing, and I like to keep up with how they're doing. And then when I played on the national team, I had a coach called Darryl Eason, who was a Canadian that lived in Nottingham. He now works in Hungary, and again was a bit of a mentor for me. Another guy that I still can go and ask anything at any time. Really enjoyed playing for all three of these guys. They were good to me, and I've learned something off of all of them, and then tried to make it a little bit of my own. So I would definitely say they three were a big influence on me, not only as a player but certainly as a coach.
Great. And have it been something maybe in the beginning of your time, or maybe now as well, that have surprised you, that you didn't think that you could feel in the role as a head coach as you are now? Maybe sometime when you go into something, you can set your mind and think that, okay, this situation will be like this? Or was it something that you were surprised of when you came into that role to be a head coach?
Yeah, I think that when you come in, or when I came in from being a player, I always enjoyed, practicing and different drills and how the practice and the training looked. But I don't know if I ever thought that I would, at that stage, be able to set up different practices, different drills. And I guess even the tactical side of the game, when you're young, you just play, you use your skill and you have fun. And I think that's obviously still very, very important to play and have fun. I think you do start to surprise yourself just how much you can break the game down. How, like now I would say one of the big things is I wouldn't say a struggle to watch a hockey game, but you watch a hockey game completely different to maybe even 5 years ago, certainly 10 years ago. If you're watching, whether it be Champions Hockey League, it can be any league in Europe, it can be the NHL, but you still have a coach's head on and you still try and look at what other teams are doing and breaking down the game itself. And maybe sometimes we all think, I could do this, the players should do that, and you're just constantly trying to watch the game in a different way and learn and become better. But it surprises you because I guess the enjoyment of just sitting down, maybe the days gone by is sitting on at night, I guess in the UK, the time difference, but you maybe sit, you're with a family, or you may have a beer and watch the hockey. Now it's focus. It's let's see how the game is played.
It's a completely different mindset. I can
100%.
really understand what you're meaning with that. How you look at hockey.
100%. It's no longer. I guess maybe when you're not coaching, you watch it to relax as well. It's fun now. It's maybe not so much relaxation as you see it as work, because you're just constantly, your mind's engaged, but still fun because it makes me better, and if it can make my players better, then it works. It's nice to learn.
Yeah, sounds. I really understand how you mean, and I wanted to talk a little bit about this achievement that I think that you have really done with the Great Britain U20 team, a national team, the tournament that you played in Lithuania, right? Yeah. You played and collected totally 12 points in your group, and as you won all your games beside Croatia, but otherwise you played really solid, great games, and 2 of those games you won 9-0, 7-0, and I know that that doesn't always mean something, but I think overall you should be really pleased with how you finished the whole tournament, and how I followed it at least, and you managed to really once again, I have to say, get the group all nice together to work against the same goal.
Yeah, I mean, thank you very much, firstly, but I think the UK hockey, the Great Britain hockey, it's difficult because we don't get our team together until the airport. We have different camps, we pick our teams, but with guys playing in North America, some guys are in Europe, some guys are in pro leagues. It's very difficult to get our actual final team together. So thankfully, Ice Hockey UK, they supported us. They sent us to Lithuania a little bit early. We had a 3-day camp. We played a warm-up game. And the players deserve huge credit because they buy in. They bought in straight away to what myself and the 2 assistant coaches, Danny Myers and Dale Keane, and what we were looking to do was bring them together as a team straight away, make them play for each other, make them understand the systems, make them understand what a world championship meant. Obviously, some guys had played before, some guys hadn't. And I agree. I think that we were really pretty solid. We were, except for 2 periods. I think the first and second period against Croatia, no disrespect to them, but I think we let ourselves down a little bit. We didn't perform like we did in the other games, but our reaction was good. As you say, we followed up a defeat then we went unbeaten, 2 shutouts back to back. So
yeah. But
it was still good.
I think many with me that are interested in ice hockey and a fan, I have seen, I can say, many U20 tournaments, World Cup, and the nice thing about this tournament is comparing to the senior tournament, it's more open hockey. So what I mean with that, to be able to accomplish a silver medal in a World Cup tournament with such a young, hungry, hard-focused young players, and really get them to do the 60 minutes of hockey, of totally all those games and winning them all besides one. It's fantastic. I think it speaks a very great result because of they are such young ages.
Yeah, and I think people sometimes forget that these kids are 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
And they are young, and they're young in their development journey.
Yeah.
Some guys are playing at a little bit of a higher level than others, but yeah, I think obviously every country wants to win the gold, and there's a little disappointment. But you're right; they have to understand that winning a silver medal at any World Championships is a great achievement.
Yeah,
it's something that lots of teams won't be able to do. So you've got to be pleased.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. At the same time, I can understand because you always want to win, right? But you have to, I think, with the perspective and a little bit time, you can see it as you have won a silver medal, not lost anything. So you really did a great tournament.
Yeah, and I think, like you say, given time, you definitely start to appreciate that you have won a silver. And these players will have that silver medal forever, and they've got to be proud of themselves and take a lot of credit as well.
So that leads me into the next question. In my opinion, maybe I think and know that many have opinions about this, but ever since I have actively followed English hockey, I really think that the league NEHL in whole, all the teams are much better to take care of the young talent that Great Britain have, because of overall, of course you can see young great players, but getting the time to play in these teams is the hard part. So I wondering how you look at that thing, that how they are taking care of their talent, so to say.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I agree with you there, David, is the playing time, the game time. These young players need to play. They need to play in all the key situations, so they need special teams. It's obviously the elite league for me is improving constantly. It's getting better, but as a young British player, you need to be on the ice. You need to be playing against men. You need to be put in a situation where your development is still being looked after. You're getting better and you're learning every week. But you are playing in these big situations. You're not sitting on the bench and maybe playing 3 or 4 shifts. They have to play. They have to be on the ice. They have to be part of a team, and it has to mean something to them. So I think that league does do a good job. I think the league we're in Solway, the South and North 1 league, does a good job for the younger player come through as well. And it all has its place in the bigger structure. But 100%, these players must play, and they must play a lot, and they must play in a good structured environment to make them a better player and hopefully reach their potential at the top level.
Yeah. So I understand, but because of you can really see the difference between these 2 leagues because of how many games they really get to play. And like this now, a team from Elite League cannot come to the NEHL league because of they are locked, so to say. But I think I understand that every team in the Elite League and as well for the NEHL want to win titles. But that's also investing for the future to get these players to get playing time.
Yeah, and I think one of the good things that we've started over number of years in the country is the two-way contract, which a lot of the big European countries and North American countries will use. But a lot of kids now are training and practicing every day with the Elite League, but they're also playing and they're getting their game time in the NIHL. So they get the best of both worlds, because I think that is the big picture is they have to play, and they have to play in the NIHL to understand the game, to have fun and learn the game, and to try and win, so that when they do get the opportunity to potentially go to that Elite League, they're ready to play and they're ready to actually contribute, rather than just being a young guy that sits on the bench or just a number. I think the difference in the two leagues, the Elite League is obviously our top league. There's a lot of imported players, but a lot of good players in there. There's a lot of good Brits in there as well. And some of these Brits are getting older, so we have to make sure at the lower levels that we are preparing the young players to take their jobs and be ready when the opportunity comes. And playing in that NIHL is very important for the development.
And as well as you said, the other leagues that comes under as well, because you can see that many of these elite league clubs also get, they have to, as you said, the two-way contracts with the NEHL 1 teams, often not maybe so often the NEHL 2 leagues, but at least there are 2 leagues under there, so to say, that the younger can develop their skills. So
and we use that very well here in Solway, where Scott Henderson, as you said, who was a guest on here before. Scott's on the two-way with Fife. And we've got another kid, Finn Page, who's two-way with Fife. Johnny McBean's on a two-way with Dundee. Kel Beatty's on a two-way with Belfast. So it works, and it's great experience for the young players to train with the professionals every day and learn to be a pro. But the game time is massively important, and NHL and NHL 1 can provide that. So it's important that we all work together, because the long-term goal has to be to get these young players an opportunity to play at the best level they can.
I really think that you are going in the right direction and have a lot of great young players that I really think can be on a really great level to be great players in a high league in England, but as well in other places in Europe as well. And how do you think that British ice hockey in general have developed the 2 last years?
I think it's getting better. I think that the inclusion of that national NIHL National League has helped. It's a higher level. There's more players can play at that level. I still think we should do more at our grassroots and junior level. We need more ice time. We need more games. We need more competition. But we're definitely getting better. Our U18s did a good job last year. Our U20s are doing a good job, and our players are going up the ladder into the top leagues. So I think as a country we're improving, but I think we have to focus, really focus on our development, getting it right, and getting more kids to play the game. If we can get much more kids playing, then there's more choice. And the more choice that you have, it creates a little bit of competition for places. So they've got to work hard and earn these opportunities. But I think the sport's growing. It's definitely growing. It's definitely getting better. And long may that continue, because the bigger we can get, then the more kids we can get through the game.
Yeah, and I think it reflects all from the clubs and from the national teams, both from the female and male side. For example, the silver medal, and the women's U18 team took also a medal when they played against Spain, right? The finals, the female, the Great Britain.
Yeah, I think when they were in Turkey last year, they won. I think were they silver last year as well.
Yeah.
So they again, the female side's done a really good job in their development.
Yeah, and as well, when I looked at the World Cup when Great Britain, the senior team, played in Finland, they really did a great tournament. I think comparing to the other teams and how they was managing the tournament.
Yeah, I think Pete Russell has done a fantastic job at the top end for our senior men's team, and they've been a great example to all the young players that you can go to the top level, you can play Sweden, Finland, Canada, USA, and compete. But they're also very smart in targeting. I think it was Latvia, Austria a couple of years ago. It was France, targeting the countries that we know we can compete and try and beat to stay in that level. So Pete's done a great job there in instilling a philosophy and a culture and building a program there that hopefully now our young players are all really desperately want to be a part of.
Yeah.
And it inspires young players to be the best they can be and try and get to that level.
Yeah, I really think so. In my opinion, I see that Great Britain goes with the bright future and a good path.
Yeah, I hope so. Definitely hope so. I think we're on the right track. We just got to keep working hard.
Yeah, and I think many, when they see, get a little bit surprised if they not are a big hockey nerd as me. But I have really followed British ice hockey real much because of course I like it so much. So I think really they have taken big steps in overall.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think it's great. People like yourself have noticed this and are helping us spread the word of British hockey across the world, and people are recognizing the hard work we've done. So, we've got to keep working hard and keep just making it better for the kids.
Yeah, because in the end it will pay. The great things you do. Whoever it is in the organization, but everybody needs to do it, as you said, together to make it such great.
Definitely starts as you said earlier. The clubs have got to work at the bottom all the way up to the top. Then Scotland, England, Great Britain, everybody together, and our sport will thrive and will definitely get better.
Yeah,
and
so I think all of the British and the others, when they sit at home and see the national team in the World Cup, even if they are from Coventry or Sheffield or Manchester or a smaller place, they get interested and think, okay, where is the nearest ice hockey club for me? Even if they want to be a fan or if they want to try it, that's the way a sport grows.
100%. Yeah, I think that, and the better our national teams do, male and female, the more chance that we've got people that will get interested in the game. And as you say, every ice rink and every club has got to be ready to welcome these people into our sport and grow the game.
Yeah. So with that said, I want to thank you so much. And as I said before, I think you and your staff members and the whole organization of British Ice Hockey are doing a fantastic work and are really, really great in so many ways. And I wish you all the best of luck in the future for you and your national team and for the Solway Sharks.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Really enjoyed talking to you, and thanks for spreading the word about our game in the UK.
Yeah, it has been an absolute pleasure. And my name is David Widén Oridsson, and this is Hockeyfeber. I enjoyed that you were watching. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. And for the new viewers and for the first time looking at Hockeyfeber, don't forget to push the subscribe button so you don't miss out of any new episodes that I put out there. And wherever you are, I wish you all a pleasant evening and take care, and we see each other on YouTube. Bye-bye.